I'm a tax accountant and I'm going to tell you the best crypto tax software that there is on the market here in 2023. Hello everyone, my name is Ethan Rushock and I'm a tax accountant here in Australia, but this video will apply to anyone worldwide because I'm going to be talking about crypto tax software. I'm going to give you the rundown of what I'm seeing as an accountant and what my clients are using and what is the best crypto tax software here today. Now I've seen a lot of different softwares, but where people go wrong is they don't get the basics right, because we need to address first, why are you using a crypto tax software? Like, what are you aiming to get out of it? What do you personally need? And therefore, what is the best fit? And there is one software I do believe covers all of this well. So what I'm going to do first is jump into why you would need a crypto tax software. And the number one reason is going to be prepare your crypto tax return. So whether you're here in Australia, whether in the US, it's likely you're going to need to lodge your crypto taxes as a part of your tax return. So you need to find a way to how you're going to calculate them. Now you could obviously use something like a spreadsheet using Excel for instance, but it gets pretty complex. I'm sure those of us that are involved in crypto know how complex it is when we're switching between coins and bridging coins, etc. So having a software makes this a hell of a lot easier, and I would highly doubt anyone's doing it too complexly on Excel. You really want to use some kind of software that's going to make your life a lot simpler. You also may be wanting to use it for tax advantages, such as loss harvesting, analyzing what your current position is and recognizing some losses, or understanding what your tax obligation will be before it actually comes along. So that's a really powerful tool that you may be able to use in some crypto tax softwares, not available in all, hence why I'm going to be giving you my suggestion on the best software, but another key factor that may go into your decision. And then the third thing that you may be wanting to use it for is some kind of portfolio tracking tool. Just have an idea of what you've actually got across which exchanges and which wallets. It's probably not the key focus for all these softwares, so they don't necessarily do it strongly, but it is something I use, for instance, to have a bit of an idea of my overview of my portfolio, how I'm going on certain coins, etc. Because if you've got the data there, you might as well take advantage of it. And some of the things that might go into your own factors of deciding on a software is, what blockchains have you been using? Does the software you're looking to use actually support them? Because not all software support all blockchains. Or maybe what type of assets have you invested in? For instance, if you're really heavy into NFTs, does the software you're using actually support NFTs effectively? Now, before I tell you what the best one is, if you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you do, because I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers here in 2023, and I can't do that without your help. So please do that, and I'm going to tell you what the best crypto tax software is now. Now, with all that in mind, let's get into the best crypto tax software that's on the market today, and it is Crypto Tax Calculator. I have talked about it on the channel before. I've even interviewed the CEO. This isn't an ad. This is my honest opinion from using software across hundreds of clients that deal with crypto, that I do believe Crypto Tax Calculator is the best software. Now, if you've heard that and you want to sign up before I even go through the video, you've heard, nah, that's the best. I listened to everything Ethan says. That's what I'm going to do. There is a link down below. If you do use the code BFF2020, I'll leave that in the description as well. You will get 20% off. So if you're happy to join through that link, it helps me, helps support the channel, and it also gives something back to you. Now, let's get into the reasons why Crypto Tax Calculator is the best. My first reason is they have improved dramatically over the last 12 to 18 months and at a much quicker pace than a lot of other competing softwares. So when I started dealing with a lot of crypto clients back in early 2021, a lot of these softwares were at similar points. So I can now reflect on these, nearly 2 years later and see the difference. And Crypto Tax Calculator has come leaps and bounds in that time, and they're continuing to improve at a constant pace. This gives me a lot of confidence that the software is going to continue to improve. It has been over the last 2 years, so every year they seem to be getting better and better. They're adding more features and readjusting ones, and they're listening to accountants, they're listening to their end users as well, and saying, hey, what do you guys need out of this software, and let us make it happen. If I look at some of the competitors, something like Coinly, it still feels and looks like the exact same software from 2 years ago. I don't feel like it's improved at all, to be honest. So when you're comparing something that's not improving at all to something that's made dramatic changes across nearly every single aspect, it gives me a lot of confidence to use a software that's constantly improving. Probably my favorite part of Crypto Tax Calculator is how easy they're making it to identify that you have errors. One of the biggest things I'm finding as an accountant is people give me their reports or give me access to their software, and I go into it and go, hey, do you realize this has a lot of errors? There's a lot of things that have no cost base, or you've got no prices for certain assets. And they go, oh no, I wasn't aware. I'm finding in Crypto Tax Calculator, it's really flagged clearly. They go, hey, you've got X amount of errors. You need to do this. Their reconciliation screen has gone through a massive improvement. This didn't exist 18 months ago, but is now probably the best reconciliations thing I've seen across any crypto software. It's really clear to go, hey, these are all your major errors. These are going to affect your tax report. And these ones here might affect things in the future. It's good at stepping you through and say, hey, you need to fix this first, this first, this first, this first. When they first brought this function out, I wasn't really sure about it because it was new and, they'd changed things up quite a bit. But the more I've learnt it, the more I've got to use it. It's a very powerful tool because the whole point of using your software is to get things as close to 100% accurate as you can. I don't believe in getting everything perfect down to the cent, but if you can get things that are 99% accurate, you know that you've got pretty reliable reporting. And that's something I think Crypto Tax Calculator does really well, is giving you the confidence that what you've got is definitely pretty close to being perfectly accurate. I do find the ease of use really good with Crypto Tax Calculator. If you're a beginner, you can easily go and import your exchanges, import your wallets, get started, and start to identify, hey, these are my errors. Can you fix them, or do you need to call in an expert such as an accountant to help? It's pretty good for beginners, which is definitely good, but it's also good for advanced users. Some softwares dumb things down too much and they're great for beginners, but they're not really got the powerful functions that an advanced user might need. Whereas Crypto Tax Calculator does seem to get that balance pretty good. One of the really powerful new features they've just introduced is the tax loss harvesting. So this is where you can actually look at your tax positions and what would be the impact if you sold some of these assets. There's a function I've been asking for over 12 months, saying, look, this is really important when it comes to tax planning for an accountant, and they've brought this in. So this is something that's only new. I haven't actually tested it out a lot because we haven't got up to our tax planning time here in Australia, but it's a really powerful tool. And it's such an important thing to be doing if you're dealing with crypto taxes or any kind of business or personal taxes, having an idea of where you're at before your financial year ends and what would be the impact of making some moves, because then you can start to actually minimize your tax position legally and easily. Crypto Tax Calculator also handles NFTs really well, which some other softwares don't seem to do at all. They have got definitely some improvements to make, but NFTs are a complex thing and they seem to handle it better than any other software I've come across. What you want to be able to do is clearly identify that these individual NFTs are individual assets, which they're doing well. There's definitely some improvements that could be had around valuing these, especially when that tax loss harvesting comes in. But I can see there's improvements happening there, and I'm excited to see what happens in that space over the next 12 to 18 months. And of course, one of the most important things is the reporting. Crypto Tax Calculator does let you export your reports into CSV format, which I think is really important because then you can bring them into Excel. You can, dissect, you can use pivot tables, etc. to really further hone in on this data. And if there's any adjustments that you need to make, you can do that. And they're also starting to bring in a lot of audit reporting so you can, see if adjustments have been made, etc. So overall, I think their reporting is really good and really clear to identify, hey, these are your capital gains, these are your income events, etc. Now we'll bring up the pricing here. This one is in Australian dollars. You can see there's different tiers depending on how many transactions you've got. I don't know if I like the transactions of the way a lot of these companies are going about their pricing, but it just seems to be the standard way that people are doing it. Something that is cool with Crypto Tax Calculator is when you do pay for it, you get 12 months of access rather than paying for individual years. So that is great for those that are, behind on years and have to catch up. It's great because you only need to pay once rather than having to pay for, 4 or 5 individual years. Now, of course, like any softwares, it does have its flaws, especially in the crypto tax space because it is an ever-evolving space. They don't support every single blockchain there is, but that's any software. They have focused more on improving these other features rather than trying to, broaden to these really unique individual blockchains. This can cause some issues if you are involved in one that's not supported. I definitely recommend finding a software that does natively support it if you can, but they do tick off all the big major ones. So that's my main concern as a counter. Do they hit 95% of what people have? There's also some improvements to be made when you're transferring funds between different wallets and exchanges. They've done a lot of work on this with their send and receive function, but it's still going to be a little bit confusing to get your head around as a beginner. And even as an advanced user, sometimes I'm pulling my hair out going, why is this not matching up? I can see some improvements over probably the last 3 months. So it is a function that's getting better. But a lot of softwares do really struggle with this of moving funds between your wallet and maybe your exchange. Is it matching that up perfectly? Because if it doesn't line up, it kind of throws balances out everywhere, but it is a space that is improving. There are other softwares out there in the market. Coinly is still very popular amongst my clients. I'm just moving away from it. I'm just, like I said, I'm not seeing improvements in it. I'm finding it a lot longer to do reconciliations if things are wrong, and therefore I just don't really like using it anymore. I do have clients that are using Excel spreadsheets, but most of them are doing trading, and I still think Excel probably works a little bit better with trading than what some of these softwares do. Maybe you're using a bit of a combination of both. Or if you're using unique blockchains, etc., you may need to use some kind of manual tracking rather than software. if it's stuff that's just, too advanced for even software at this stage. Now, I've got plenty of other videos on my channel talking about crypto tax topics, so make sure you go and check one of those videos out next. I appreciate you watching. I'll talk to you again on the next one.